Well, this will be the second time we've had Blaine Knight on the show during the coronavirus pandemic shutdown. Well, it's been a couple of months since we talked with Blaine Knight, Arkansas's ace from the 2018 season, and one of the great all-time Razorbacks. So we've got him on again with hopefully a future teammate, also a former teammate at the same time. Blaine,
someone he knows real well.
That's right. Blaine, it's good to have you on today, man. How you doing?
Hey, how are y'all?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I guess, we wouldn't have planned to have you on for a second time during this shutdown, but I had to send in the request with Heston Kjerstad going second overall. He said to the media last night and this morning that you'd contacted him both before and after the draft. So what's your communication with Heston been like, and what was your reaction when you saw the Orioles' first pick yesterday?
I mean, I'm fired up for him. I think just like y'all think. I think he's very worthy of the second pick overall. And the bat's there, the athletic ability's gotten better, the speed's gotten better, the defense has gotten better. So I think Baltimore made a really good choice.
You've pitched to him before. I know you pitched to him in scrimmages before the 2018 season. So, and obviously he's a different player then, but what is it like to be, especially a right-hander that comes against a guy like Kjerstad, a left-hander with so much plate coverage and power?
He makes it tough. I remember back his freshman fall, I didn't want to throw to him. Because he covered everything so well. His plate discipline was so good. And if you made a mistake in his hot zone, he made you pay for it. So I remember him being an extremely tough out, and I'm very thankful he's on my side again instead of against me.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? What was Heston like when he first came to campus? He's got such a wide-eyed, earnest personality, and I want what was he like? Not necessarily that first season, but that in fall ball. If you remember what Kjerstad was like when he first showed up on campus and how you guys sort of brought him along.
Yeah, when he first showed up, we were like, he was just kind of a goofball. Just wide-eyed, just goofy, just a goofy kid. And, until we didn't really know what he was doing there or anything else until we saw him hit. And then we're like, oh, well, that makes sense. And so, we just he's great to get along with. He's easy to get along with. He's friends with everyone. And, he's a greght teammate. And it was really easy to bring him in and just, hang out with him and then let him do his thing on the field.
Yeah, I know he there's always good-natured ribbing between the upperclassmen and the freshmen. And I even saw Kjerstad do that, this year as one of the team leaders in his junior season. And I know that he reacted very well to that. So you guys knew pretty quickly that you had a good teammate who just seems to fit into not just the Arkansas baseball clubhouse, but overall just the atmosphere in baseball. I think Kjerstad fits it very well.
Yeah, I agree. He adapts to where he's at really well. And, he wasn't like normal freshmen. They come in, they're kind of real quiet, they're really reserved in themselves until they kind of open up and stuff. He got there. He was wide-eyed and just ready to go. And, and I respected him for that. Because a lot of guys don't do that. They're real they kind of tiptoe into the water, and Heston just dove straight in. And I think he does that, no matter where he's at. And, he conforms really well to whatever the scenario or wherever he's at. He always has.
As a prospect in an organization like Baltimore that's lost over 100 games in the big leagues the last 2 years, you've got to feel like, and I know that they've improved this the minor league system in the last couple of years, but you've got to think, for you, for anybody, for Kjerstad as well, if you have success in the minor leagues and show it on a consistent basis, you have the sense Baltimore wants to move you up quickly because just because, I think they view, the bubble or the influx of players starting with your draft as the future of Baltimore baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they do want to move guys quick, and I think if you put up good numbers and you have success, and I think they're gonna make sure you're ready. But I think they will move you, and I think that's the whole goal with this rebuild. I think it started with 2018, that draft class that we had, and we're developing those guys and the guys that were last year's class and now the guys coming in this year. We're getting a lot of really good players that I think are going to be impact players here in the near future. And, I think you'll see Baltimore start rising up and start playing really well and competing really well here in the near future.
I always thought Baltimore was a great baseball town, but I'm thinking more of like the 80s and the 90s up until, when the Yankees beat them in 96 and started that Yankee dynasty. You had a chance to visit Baltimore last year, correct? And actually go to a game at Camden?
Yes, sir.
So what was the atmosphere like at Camden Yards? What's the ballpark like? What do you think of Baltimore as a sports city?
I mean, I compare O's fans to Hog fans. They love baseball, and they're all about it. They back us up 100% of the time, and the atmosphere there is it's incredible. It really is, and that field. I mean, I think it's probably my favorite field. I'm not being biased. I mean, just the layout of it, and the history that's there with it. It's a lot of fun to be at. I think it's going to play really well into Heston's powers and that he has. And, it's an awesome park. And, I'm really looking forward to, moving up and eventually ending up there and, being there for a long time.
Is there a perception from people outside of Arkansas or maybe outside of the SEC or maybe in the Baltimore organization or in professional baseball overall of what Arkansas baseball is about in a nutshell, like the sort of player you're getting when you draft a Razorback? What is that national perception of Arkansas Razorback baseball?
People know what they're getting. They know they're going to get really good athletes that have been developed really well at the college level under Coach Van Horn, and they're going to come in. They're going to know what to do, and they're just blue collar workers. That's what we do up there on the hill. We're gonna be blue collar. We're gonna work until the work's done, and we win games. That's what we do, and I think that's the perception that when you get an Arkansas guy, that's what you're getting, and I think it's a pretty good reputation, from what Coach Van Horn's had over the years come out of there. He's got a lot of guys in the league that are still playing, and I think it's because they work hard and they've been developed right.
Speaking of Blaine Knight here on Halftime, Blaine, we were talking earlier in the show too as well. Kind of just maybe start to become a little bit of an Orioles fan just because we like to follow where the Razorbacks go. So I'll leave the mic open to you. Give me a good pitch to become a Baltimore Orioles fan.
Hey, the best pitch I can give you is, like I said, they're a lot like Hog fans. They love their baseball. We have a lot of good talent coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun here in the next couple of years to see where we're going to be at once everybody gets where they need to be. And, I think Michael Opitz is doing a really good job at developing this and, forming this rebuild. And all I can say is jump on the wagon while you can because we're fixing to be hammering down here pretty quick.
Got a couple more Razorbacks this afternoon that could be getting drafted, Casey Martin and Casey Opitz. What do you think about what would the Major League organization be getting? And we'll just start with Casey Martin.
You're getting a guy that's extremely athletic that I think you can put him anywhere and he can play anything. And, he's super fast. He's got every tool set that you could have. And, he hits for power. He hits for average. And, I think his swing and miss rate will go down as he matures and starts to see a little better pitching and as he just gets mature as a hitter. And so, he's a guy you can't pass up on. That's for sure. He's too good to pass up on. And, I think Opitz, he's an incredible catcher. His hitting came along this year from what I saw from the short stint that I was able to watch them. What you're getting behind the plate and the hitting's coming around. So, I think you got two really good guys that teams don't want to pass on. And, you're going to want them in their organization to start helping them win games for sure.
Just another couple minutes here with Blaine Knight. Blaine, I wonder what your advice would be to a high school pitcher that is balancing whether to go to college and let's say to go to Arkansas or to go pro, and obviously it depends on where you're drafted and family concerns sometimes have something to do with it. But we've also seen, Dave Van Horn told us a couple of months ago that he will tell parents of incoming players to allow their sons to be bought out of college for no less than $2 million. So I wonder if you're asked the same sort of advice. I mean, would you give a dollar figure? Are you talking about, the coaches that you play for? What's your advice to a high school player to make that decision between pro or college?
I think it's different with each guy based on, their situation in life at that point in time. But, if it's life-changing money, you got to do what you got to do. But do I think going to college, and especially an SEC program, and and developing more and getting better underneath that program, I think that's a huge factor as far as like your draft stock versus high school going all the way through 3 years of college. And I think college helps a lot. But I mean, like I said, it's different for each kid. I mean, if it's life-changing money for you, then it's hard to turn down.
All right, last question here, Blaine, and it's from the 870. A texter sent this in. I feel like I wouldn't have asked you this because I'm not sure if you would answer it. This guy wants you to give up your best fishing spots. So is that something you would think about doing? One spot, one fishing hole, or is it all private?
Okay, well, right now it's been pretty tough because the water. Right now it's pretty tough because the water's up. But you
don't have to give up your favorite one. You can just give up like some of your other favorites,
or you can say no. These are my spots. I'm not doing this.
I mean, I don't really have any certain spots. Me and Josh, we fish the Arkansas River a lot, and when the water's right there, you can catch a lot of fish and catch a lot of good ones. As far as Northwest Arkansas, Beaver Lake's tough. That's all I can tell you. I mean, you're flipping a coin when you're going out there. But, I mean, my favorite spot to fish is the river when I'm with Josh. And, we have a lot of fun out there. So all I can tell you is best of luck on that one. There's not really just any honey holes out there. You just got to find the right day.
He ain't giving up his fishing holes. I've heard that before.
That's a good answer without an answer, Blaine. You obviously know how to answer that question properly. Appreciate your time. Thanks again for doing it. Hope you get to pitch this year, but if not, I know next year you'll have a good season. Good luck, Blaine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. It's Blaine Knight. Love talking baseball with him. I can't wait to watch him and Kjerstad in the same lineup in Baltimore.